Hey everyone, I want to walk through with you making my December ATCs. I used the Trees for Sale stamp set from Stampin Up, and this was actually from last year, but it's really such a great set. I love making these trees. I've done a few videos showing these. I started out by using the mint macaron ink to do the base, and I have to prepare 10 ATCs each month to share with my fellow club members. And so I like to do these in batches, and I will do almost in an assembly line fashion. I'm going to stamp all of the base part of the trees before I move on to the next step. It's just a little bit easier when I get all the supplies that I need for a certain step together. So that's what I'm doing here. Now I'm going to move on to the next step of the two-step stamping, and I use the Evening Evergreen ink for this, and I just really love when that dark comes on that pine tree. It looks really nice, and these are just fun to do. You know, as you can see even in this stamp set there with the mint macaron, it's not a perfect stamp that I always do, but when you lay over the darker Evening Evergreen in that, you can't even tell, like, if it's not a perfect stamp image, as you can tell there. I think it just adds, though, it gives the different colors like you would see in a real tree. So that I continue along in there, and now I've got to do the tree stand there, and I use soft suede for my tree stands. And I just put that on each because we're trying to display, remake like a tree sale here, a Christmas tree stand sale. So now it's time to do the sign, the Trees for Sale sign. I really like this too. I used early espresso. It's a little bit darker brown, and I really think when you put this here on the white, it just makes the words pop out really nicely. And so this is a good time. I just take a scrap piece of white paper and stamp, and then use my die to cut those out there, and I've got my 10 that I need. Now I'm going to use cherry cobbler for the words So Very Merry. And my white paper is a little short of 2.5 by 3.5. I'm going to place this on a craft color 2.5 by 3.5. So I make the white just a little bit smaller than that. And that's what I'm using right here, and then to apply this So Very Merry as the sentiment. Now it's time to stamp out our string of lights that we're going to use, and this is such a cute little set here with these lights. It's really, again, I take a scratch sheet of paper, and I'm going to stamp as many of these string of lights that I can get on here, because I thought it would be a great thing to have these. They're so easy to make, but if I can do it all at once, and then if I have another project that I want to use. But I'm going to start out, and mainly with my lights, I'm using the green. I'm using the Granny Apple Green. I'm going to also be using the Real Red and the Daffodil Delight. And to fit on the ATC, I really am going to only use the first 4 lights. So since I'm only using 3 colors, I'm going to have the first and the 4th light be the green, and then second I'm going to come in with the Real Red, and then the 3rd light's going to be the Daffodil Delight. So now I'm coming in with the Real Red, and as you can see, I used the Memento Black to stamp the base of the lights, and some of them did not come out perfect, and then you can see also some other little images I got on, but that's okay because we're going to cut that out and we're not going to see any of that. So we don't have to scratch it and begin anew. We can just go with what we've got and see if that works, and in this case it did. So now I'm going to pick up the Daffodil Delight and go with that 3rd light. I cut those out, and I have them all ready to go. So now it's time to assemble everything. And I've got all the pieces together, and I usually just go about taping those on one at a time each section. So like the main part there with the trees are going to go on that craft paper again that I said was 2.5 by 3.5. And I just use a simple tape that I have. And I continue on with that, and I think I'm going to put together a full ATC here to show you how the completed card is put together. So I'm going to take some pop dots and use that on the trees for sale sign to raise that up a little bit, give it a little dimension. Place that on the lower left of the ATC. Then I'm going to come in with the lights, and remember I said I only use the first 4 lights, kind of place that, and then so I'm going to trim off those last 2 that I didn't color, but I'm going to save those. I may use them down the road, who knows, for something else. I like to use my tweezers when I'm gluing anything, and that's what I decided to use the glue here with this tiny cut image. And so I'm going to use my tweezers as I apply, and then apply the glue and then place that down on the ATC. And I like how that I can bring it across. It doesn't have to fit just perfectly on the white. It can stem over into the craft paper. And then Wink of Stella. I've used the Wink of Stella before on the trees, but at the last minute I decided to just use those on the light. Give the light just a little bit of a glitter. And now you can see all the cards that I have ready. They are ready to distribute, and we have a party coming up, and we're going to be passing out our different ATCs for December. So I've got mine already, and I hope everyone will like those.